Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to Thomas Was Alone. Yes, we're here again, and when we last left off, we had just met Chris, hadn't we? Yes, we're right back in.
Chris took an immediate and deep dislike to the skinny red rectangle. Who the hell did this Thomas think he was?
See? Here's Chris again, and here's Thomas, and all is right with the world. So the trick with this level is, since Chris is so short, he can't jump as high. So Thomas is going to have to jump over, and Chris will have to jump on top of him so he can get over here. So you gotta work together, even if you don't necessarily like each other. You gotta put your differences aside, just so you can progress and move forward through the world. Big level.
Chris had been doing fine. He wasn't the highest jumper, but he'd held his own.
Yeah.
He'd even been graceful at times.
Oop, oh, not right there.
Well, not technically graceful. It's probably the wrong word, but you know, fine.
Yeah.
There was that skinny little runt leaping about like he owned the place.
Hi.
Oh, Thomas. Oh, okay, so Christopher can't get any further. So we need to get Thomas up there. Oop, oh. The world's changing around us again. And Thomas has to sojourn forth and make adjustments. Take the hits that come at him, adjust his plans, and take what the world gives you. It's gonna throw some surprises at you, but just believe in yourself and you can get through it. And we're only 2 episodes in and I've already just used the believe in yourself cliche. We're gonna do well here. And Chris doesn't even need to jump here. He can just fall right on down. Chris is in place. And switch over to Thomas, and Thomas can hop merrily along and finish. Ooh. Okay. What do we have here?
Okay, this was more like it. A glowy white thing. Only Chris could get to it, which of course made it all the more enticing. What would it do? What new opportunity might this switch open up to him?
I see. So here, Chris is the only one who can get through. So he may be not quite as able to jump as high, but he has his moments, he has his own special abilities. Even if it doesn't seem like it, you have your own abilities. You know what you're good at. You may not think you're very good at it, but there's gonna be an opportunity for you to let yourself shine. Oh. Oops. And I guess we're gonna need to do this. That's fine. It may not have been what it was intended, but it was good. It was better for everybody. It may not have been necessarily better for you, but
another chance for Thomas to jump slightly higher than Chris. How fortunate. Seriously, this made the whole switch pressing thing entirely worthwhile.
It did, though. 'Cause it may... This is... Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit Harry Potter on you right here. But I think that's the Hufflepuff philosophy. We may not be the biggest and the brightest of everything, but we help other people to be better. We're the support players. We may not be the biggest, we may not be the strongest, we may not be the bravest, we may not be the most clever, we may not be the most cunning, but we help those who are be better at what they do. In case you haven't noticed, I do identify myself as a Hufflepuff. Hufflepride.
Was this good? Because on the surface, it did not seem good. Chris was pretty scared. Little Red seemed fine, happy to be on his merry little adventure.
It's okay to be scared.
Chris couldn't shake the feeling that things had taken a significant turn for the worse since Thomas had joined him.
And you can have your characters
Sure,
right
he'd
on
been
each
able
other's
to
heads.
Piggyback his way to
See?
ever so slightly higher platforms, but where had that got him?
Got him forward.
Well, to ever so slightly higher platforms, which was sort of his point.
Alright. You may not understand what's happening in your world around you, but try and think of it positively. There's a lot of confusing things happening, and if someone around you seems to be positive about what's going on, they probably have reason to believe so, even if you don't yourself. And I think Chris needs to go this way. Yeah. Oop. Oop. And hoop. And we're in. Oh boy, what's happening now? No, we're good. Okay. Thought my recording was getting funky. Okay, so fell off there. That's fine. Jump back up. And jump over. And... Ah, missed it. Come on. Alright. One more time. And jump. And jump. There we go. Alright, where are we now? Ooh, long world. Okay.
Chris stared at Thomas with pure hatred.
Aw.
He seemed so very happy at their situation. Friends together, a brave fellowship of quadrilaterals on a quest for greatness.
Chris, you don't need to be so negative.
That would be fine. But it was all the obvious observation that Thomas was doing which grated.
Oh.
Every time they saw something vaguely new, Chris would hear a satisfied little from the vaulting idiot.
Oh, that's...
He hoped the next portal would split them up. If only for a few levels.
That's okay, you know, if someone... Oop, gotta get on the platform here. But, you know, if a friend of yours is being a little bit annoying, it's okay to ask for your space. As long as... or some permanent space. if there's someone that you don't... Oh, bother. If there's someone who's bothering you, tell them that they're bothering you. But do it politely. Just say, hey, man or woman, this thing that you're doing doesn't really sit well with me. I was wondering maybe if there was some way we could find a middle ground where we can get along. That's what everyone should try and do. Just try and find some way to get along with each other. You don't have to like each other, but you know, find a nice even keel where you're all on the same page and willing to move forward with your world. That's the important thing. Just being able to move forward, even if you're surrounded by people you don't necessarily like. Because the Lord knows we've all been there. Alright, now we gotta do some funky platforming here. Okay. And over to this one. And over to the checkpoint. Nice, there we go. And onto this one. Okay. Ooh, those move quickly. Okay. And jump over, and down. And in. 1.6. Who's this?
John knew. He knew that this was his chance. A moment to shine.
Ooh.
This was game day.
John. Big dude. Big yellow dude. Okay. So we gotta put John in the middle. John on the bottom, rather. And Chris up top. And Thomas in the middle. So, from what we're learning about John already is that he's very enthusiastic. He's go-getter. Very type A dude.
This would not do. John needed room to show off his exceptional skills. As it was, he was trapped on the wrong side of these little dot things. Where did they come from, anyway?
That's a good question. We don't quite know. But we put John in the hole and get Chris and Thomas, rather, into their respective holes. And John in the door, and next level. Up to 1.8. Ooh, big open world.
John inhaled the air of the open space, and it smelled of awesome. Time to flex those muscles, to put his training to use. Time to show those little dots how it was done.
Alright, John, what can you do? So John can jump really far and really high, if he doesn't fall in the water. But John's got his special ability. He can jump higher than anybody. Anyone, and he's not afraid to let people know. And if you have an ability that you're proud of, it's okay to show it off now and then. Like I enjoy doing characters and doing voices and stuff. Which I can't really show off in this game because characters don't speak. But if you have something that you're proud of, be proud of it. If you have something you enjoy, be proud of what you enjoy. Be proud of what you do.
John decided to press the switch to let the little dots catch up with him. John cared for his new allies.
That's nice.
You could tell from the sympathetic expression he practiced in the mirror all these years.
Oh, John, you smug so-and-so. Hey, Chris, gotta get over. Okay, so he can't jump that. We gotta get Thomas over as well. And Thomas, bringing up the rear. Happily doing so. It's okay to be behind if it seems like you're behind in the world, if you're not quite where you want to be, and it seems like other people are ahead of you in whatever definition you may have of that. That's okay. You're still moving, you're still somewhere. You may not be where you think you want to be, but you're where you need to be for that moment in time. You're where you need to be at that point. You're always where you need to be. You may not be where you want to be, but I'll stop repeating myself now. But I'm not good at waxing philosophic, but I'm trying, I'm trying to give life lessons here. And bring them all down. Whoop. Put Thomas up front, so he can help Chris clear this gap. Oh, he didn't even need to. But Thomas was kind enough to offer. Here he's gonna need Thomas, so let's get Chris up. And through. Okay. And then let's put John up, and up, and up, and up, and in. And let's put Thomas in his place. Oh, he's gonna need John. That's okay. John can come back and help. And over. There you go. There you go, Thomas. And now John can come through. Alright, 1.9. Gonna do a couple this level and I think one more. And then we'll call it for the day. Oop. Alright, can John make this jump on his own?
John was happy to keep helping. He felt it was important to his image that he was seen to help the little guys.
Well, see, there's helping people, and there's helping people for the wrong reasons. In this particular case, it feels like John is doing this for his own reasons. You shouldn't help people because it makes you look good. You should help people because it makes you feel good. You do it because it's the right thing. Again, being a Hufflepuff, I help people because that's what I feel is the right thing to do. I help people because that's what I'm good at. I may not be the strongest or the best at whatever it is, but I can help other people be good at what they do. It's important to help other people whenever you can. Let's get everybody up here. This is a wonky one. And Chris, and Thomas, and Chris, and Thomas. Get them down here. And John, Big John. Chris on top. Thomas next. And Doing Doing. And Doing. And John. Ding ding. Deep. There we go. We gotta get Thomas up there as well. John. Elevator here. Let's get Thomas up. Get Chris. And John. And Thomas. I need to just stop saying their names. You know what the color they are. Unless you're colorblind. In which case, if you are colorblind, this is John, the big, long, rectangular one. This is Thomas, the little, slightly squatter rectangle. And this is Chris, the little square. And let's get everybody up. Hey, hop, hey, hop, hey, hop. Nope, okay,
He didn't
that's
mind them
fine.
so much either. The red one, Thomas, had a charming way of applauding every time John jumps.
See, it's important to encourage each other in each other's abilities when you can. It helps the other person feel good, and it helps you feel good too. And let's get John up and over. Can't quite make that jump. That's fine. Get him up. There we go. Get I think Thomas, Chris. Needs to shuffle a little bit. There we go. And get Chris up on top and over. There we go. And Thomas. Since Chris...
The angry orange one was less immediately likeable, but his unremitting cynicism and tutting amused John.
Thomas needs to get down there too. Up. Gotta pick the right one. Since Chris can't do quite as much as the other guys, which doesn't make him any less special, he needs to be helped up first. And that's okay. If you need some help, don't be afraid to ask for it. And if you see someone who needs help, offer it. But don't force it. If they don't accept your help, then accept that and move on. Because they may not feel like they're ready to accept it. They may not feel it's okay. They may have too much pride for it, and that's something to consider. And let's put Chris up on Thomas, and Thomas over here. Chris jump over, and Thomas jump over, and there we go. One more level, let's say. One more, and then we'll call it.
This was interesting. A floating target. This would require coordination, balance, and timing.
None of which I clearly have.
John was sure the dots would be lost, but he was happy to guide them to triumph.
Okay, and let's get Chris up and over. Or not. No, that's fine. Oh, nope. Okay, Chris does need to be up there. Oops. And let's get John on the other side. Move Chris over. This is what happens when you record with the lights off. You can't see which buttons you're pressing. Alright, let's move John back over. Chris on top. And there we go. Alright, so what happens here is that Chris needs to... Does Thomas need to? No, Thomas can make these jumps, but Chris can't. So he needs to sort of ride or make pit stops on... Pit stops. He sort of needs to jump halfway onto John. And then make the rest of the jump. Thomas can make these jumps on his own, relatively speaking. John can hang out down here after he's out of the way of Chris, because Chris needs to get down there.
Maybe that's what the dots were for. They were there to extend John's reach, to make his performance even more impressive. John liked the thought. He decided to keep them.
Well, that's yes and no. It's important to realize that other people are there to make you better, but they're not there to make you look or seem better. They're there to help each other be better. Maybe that's something John will learn over the course of this adventure, but for the time being, this is going to be the last level for now. Thank you for watching this episode of Thomas Was Alone. We'll come back with more Thomas and John and Chris and whoever else might pop up next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And if you like what you've seen so far, be sure to click like and share and subscribe. And if you like the game so far, put it in the comments below. If you don't like the game, put that in the comments below. And if you have any other suggestions for what you want to see me play, or your opinions on my life lessons, put those in the comments below, because I do read those and I want to hear from you guys. So, from Thomas, and Chris, and John, I'll see you guys next week. Bye!